The next thing to consider when you're waiting on God for a relationship is stop waiting and start preparing. All right. So I love to say we don't wait. We're in the process of receiving. All right. And in the process of receiving, we must prepare. We must get ourselves ready for that blessing we want. Because here's the unfortunate truth. A lot of people are not even ready for what they're praying for. A lot of people are hoping for this relationship. And if it slapped you right in the face, you wouldn't know what to do with it. A lot of you, if you met the person that you had an amazing connection with, would run from that person because you are not emotionally ready to handle the level of vulnerability required to be in that relationship. So it does us no good to wait if we're not preparing. It does us no good to say, oh, I'm just giving it to God if we're not going to embrace the work that we need to do. So you got to start recognizing what are those things? How do I become the partner that the type of person I desire, the type of person I believe God has for me is going to want in that person? And just start with some of the fundamentals. Let's just start with how's your communication skills? I'm going to be real with y'all. Like, some of you want a relationship and you don't know how to talk to people. you don't know how to listen. You don't know how to talk to people. That's very important for a successful relationship. All right. How's your attitude? If you have a bad attitude, we got to fix that. All right. How are the relationships around you? And what I mean by that is this. There are a lot of you who have a lot of toxic relationships, family, friends, so on and so forth. And now you want God to bring you somebody and you're going to essentially walk them into a war zone. All right. And I've seen plenty of relationships fail because of friends and family. Plenty of people having to go through unnecessary nonsense because those issues weren't resolved. And listen, if you say to me, well, I can't control these people, which you can't, and I've tried resolving it. I've tried working things out. I tried creating a more positive environment. Well, then you're going to have to be ready to let go of some people. You know how they say sometimes your elevation requires separation. I think that's what they say, but it sounds about right. Either way, like sometimes you got to let go of some people to reach that next level. And yes, if that next level includes the love of your life, ain't it worth it? And listen, I'm not saying go home right now and start cutting people off left and right who you think are going to pose a problem. Because again, we should be trying to address the issues first and see what can be resolved, or at least consult with God about who needs to stay, who needs to go, or what needs to be handled in what way. But ultimately, you've got to set the stage, set the table for what you're trying to receive. One other thing that I have to mention as far as getting yourself ready for this relationship is, and understand this video is speaking to both men and women, all right, is understanding the role God wants you to play in your future relationship. And what I mean by that is this. For example, if you are a man, I'm of the belief that then God wants you to be able to lead in your relationship. He wants you to be able to be the head of the household, so to speak, all right? And so you've got to cultivate the skills that allows you to be a good leader, not a dictator, a good leader. As a woman, if God wants you to be that helpmate to this man and be able to inspire and push and take care of the home, or maybe it's in your career, but still be able to join together with this man in a way that creates this full unit, then there might be some things that have to be resolved within you in order for you to slide into that, in order for you to successfully create that environment. We have to understand what those roles are. Now, listen, for the sake of being fair here, I explain the roles that as I believe them to be. However, if by some chance God, no, I can't even say it. I was going to say if by some chance God wants you as the woman to be the leader, then so be it. But I'm going to be real with you. I don't believe that's going to be the case. And when I say don't want you to be the leader, simply meaning like you having to run this whole thing. That's not where your peace lies. That's not where your happiness is. And think about that for a second, because for any of you who may have been triggered by that, consider, would you really be happy and at peace having to run your relationship, having to be the leader all the time, having to lead this man for the rest of your life? Would that really make you feel good? I'm gonna say that it probably won't. All right, in 99.9% of the time, it won't. I really want to say 100%, but I'm trying to be fair. So yes, understand that there is a level of submission. And I know some of y'all don't like that word, but there is a level of submission that has to be embraced. And please understand that in a godly relationship, there is submission that goes both ways. All right. And as a man, you have to be willing to submit to God. You both have to be willing to submit to God. So it's not something that we should run away from. But the point that I'm trying to make simply is that we have to prepare ourselves for what we desire. And so again, stop waiting and start preparing to receive.